So today is really a celebration of our community and who we are together. With that in mind, I would like to share these opening words with you from Beverly and David Bumbaugh. Our church exists to proclaim the gospel, that each human being is infinitely precious. Now that's a great gospel. That the hidden meaning of our lives lies hidden in the interactions with each other. We wish to be a church where we encounter each other with wonder, appreciation, and expectation. Where we call out of each other strengths, wisdom, and compassion that we never knew we had. So today is our celebration of how we call out all those wonderful aspects of each other as a community together. Come, my friends, let us worship together. I have a poem for a cello sliding, and then a little bit from me myself. The first is a poem called Long Haul People by Rudy Nemser. You find them in churches when you're lucky. Other places too, though I mostly only know the ecclesiastical varieties. Long haul people, upon whose shoulders pocketbooks and casseroles and daylight, nighttime hours, a church is built and maintained. And after the brass is tarnished and cushions need restitching, they pay their pledges full and on time, even when the music's modern. They support each canvas through the sermon, though the sermons are not always short. Mow lawns and come to suppers. Teach Sunday school when there's no one else, and they'll even miss the service. Ask what they think of the minister, or plans for the kitchen renovation, or the choral anthem, or the Christmas pageant, or the color of the bathroom paint. They'll reply, individuals and fashions arrive, pass. The church, their church, will be there, steady and hale, for a long time. It will. For long haul people, bless a church with a very special blessing. I do volunteer here at the church at High Plains, though not as much as I have at times. I've learned to set some limits. I love this community with all its foibles and peculiarities, in part because it reflects many of my own foibles and peculiarities, giving me a better opportunity to see them in myself. I've at times pulled away, but have also come back. For what is this but another relationship that is a dance? Like a friendship, a marriage, even the relationship of parents to children. We move in and out with the steps of give and take in the rhythm of life. So, breathe in mutual support, and breathe out community. Breathe in loving kindness for our individual strengths and weaknesses, and breathe out community. Breathe in the peace of a place where you are welcome, and as you breathe out, know that you create this community. I light this chalice in the spirit of this church that comes alive in every volunteer. Spirit of life and love, remind us every day that we are not alone. When this cruel and painful world gnaws away at our sense of hope and happiness, help us remember that we are part of this community, and it surrounds each of us with its loving presence
like a protective blanket, now and always. May it be so. Amen. We come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches, and some of us grow alone. Some of us are cupped inward, and some of us spread ourselves out wide. Some of us are old and dried and tougher than we appear. And some of us are still in bud. Some of us grow low to the ground, and some of us stretch high toward the sun. Some of us kind of feel like weeds now and then, and some of us carry seeds sometimes. Some of us are prickly sometimes, and some of us smell, sometimes good, sometimes not. And all of us are beautiful. What a bouquet of people we are. Despite common thinking, the world does not change one person at a time. According to scientific studies on emergent systems, the world changes as networks of relationships are formed. Suddenly I'm imagining a swarm of birds and how they shift and move together. Or fish in the ocean. We are like that too. A quote from Margaret Wheatley: "In organizations, real power and energy is generated through relationships. The patterns of relationships and the capacity to form them are the most important tasks, function, roles, and positions of being in a community." So as Unitarian Universalists, we are pretty good at knowing what we don't believe. Are you guys pretty clear on what you don't believe? Okay. Me too. Well, I don't know, I argue with myself still. But I have been living with the question of what is truly sacred and worthy of my greatest and deepest respect. What is that? What is that for you? It isn't what I read in books, although it is sometimes comes close, and I read a lot of books. No, there is something more profound that can't be captured in words in a static state. And as I ponder this question, I keep coming back to this unexpected answer of relationships. It's all about relationships. Relationships define us. As Malidoma Somé reminds us, the elder cannot be an elder if there is not a community to make him an elder. Building relationships and connections with kindred spirits is how we can bring real and lasting change, Wheatley says. Rather than worry about critical mass, our work is to foster critical connections. As a network grows and transforms into active working communities of practice, we discover how life truly changes through that which is called emergence. When separate local efforts connect with each other as a network, then that strengthens these communities of practice. And suddenly and surprisingly, a new system emerges at a greater level of scale. And the system that emerges always possesses greater power and influence than is possible through planned incremental change. Emergence is how life creates radical change and takes things to a bigger scale. find this fascinating. I also see how this is the essence of our flower communion. This is us coming together. And look at the incredible beauty that is created by all of these flowers. Each one has its own beauty, but together, it's pretty amazing. And it really symbolizes this power of emergence. And as I think about relationship and connections being the one single most important thing worthy of my deepest respect, I think about our 7 principles. And every single one of our 7 principles talks about relationship. You just check this out, see if I'm right here. We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. A free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Now you could argue this one, but think about it. How do any of us have a free and responsible search for truth and meaning without other people in our lives? Even if you're sitting on a mountaintop as a hermit, you are still influenced by all the other people in the world. How about this one? The right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in the society at large. And finally, our last one, the goal of the 6th one, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. The goal of world community. There it is. And our last one, the queen of all, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Now, Dr. Norbert Fabian Čapek understood this back in 1923 when he created the flower communion ceremony for his Unitarian Church in Prague, Czechoslovakia. His goal was to create a symbolic ritual that would bring people closer together in relationship. Even in 1923, Unitarians knew that they knew more of what they were rejecting than what they believed. But Čapek knew one common love that everyone had, the love of nature and outdoors. Resonate with anyone? So the symbol of flowers seemed perfect. Having people bring a flower from their own garden or from a field or the roadside signified that they were joining others out of their own free will. The vase of flowers was a symbol of the united community. No 2 flowers are alike, just like no 2 people are alike, but we all have something to contribute, just like the flowers. We too create a beautiful bouquet of unique flowers. Now, this whole idea of emergence challenges our sense of independence and being able to function independently, singularly, with great fierceness. I can do it all myself, right? And yet, from the research that I cited earlier, from the quote from Margaret Wheatley, we are much more powerful when we work together. So you can imagine how intrigued I was when the minister from Vista Grande Church, Community Church, stopped by about a month ago to talk about how our churches might want to share space and begin to collaborate in powerful and unique ways. I immediately thought, emergence, this is it. I also thought, emergence, this is it. When we came together with the Islamic community. So you can imagine how delighted I was and fascinated The other morning, a few days ago, I went to Citizens Project breakfast. Thursday morning. Anybody else there? Right on, right on. And I sat down with the minister from Vista Grande Church, and sitting right next to us was Imam El-Wazir with his wife and 3 little kids. And we got to talking. How amazing would it be if our congregations worked together and collaborated together? And you know, there's this minister that was really amazing, and he was from the Center for Spiritual Living, which is like a mile away from here. And he's like, count me in. Does anyone have a sense of emergence happening here? Yeah. It's pretty powerful. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea how things are going to work out. But this, my friends, is worth our greatest focus, our greatest respect, and our greatest intentions. This, my friends, is a big, bold vision worthy of this congregation. This is how we can come together in a powerful way to transform Colorado Springs, ourselves, and who knows how far the waves will go. So let's work with that power of emergence. And let's remember and celebrate who we are together as we follow through with our flower communion ceremony. Think about emergence. So I share with you Norbert Fabian Chapek's words to consecrate these flowers. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these flowers, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts, to be one in desire and affection, and to devote thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world. So we have gathered all of these beautiful flowers into our unique community. And now it is time to come forward to take a flower, one that you did not bring. And this is a symbol of how we enrich each other's lives by what we give and by what we take. So our ushers are going to help each row come forward to select your flowers. I invite you to look at your flower for a moment. I've never seen a flower like this before. Look at the unique beauty of that flower that you did not bring. Do you know who brought it? Your flower? It's anonymous. It's an anonymous gift. But someone in this congregation is blessing your life with great beauty. And the flower that you brought is blessing someone else. And that's the power, my friends, of supportive presence and the power of emergence. Let's say our affirmation together. Nurtured by this community, inspired by all that we share, may our actions carry this love forward into our lives and into the world every day. I invite you to reach out and connect with those around you for a moment. So a favorite quote by Edwin Markham says, He drew a circle that shut me out. Heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle and took him in. My friends, may we keep drawing our circle wider and wider and wider through building of those precious and sacred relationships. May it be so. Amen.